Another one bites the dust as tonight we lose Crown Camacho. Was it too soon? I definitely got questions about this decision making here, but we'll see as we're back here for another recap review show here, Big O Belt Media, episode 6 of season 2 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. It's a business, man. So yeah, losing Crown, which obviously means that we had to have questions with Crown, which means we had to have opportunity to sit down and talk to our guy Quincy Brown, which we got that for you later on the channel. But yeah, before we get into the review tonight, some of you may know, I mean, and maybe you don't know, but so Quincy plays this character Crown Camacho, you know, who's a local producer and whatnot, but he actually is in music, which he just dropped a new video on his channel. I'll link that down below for his new song Jetty. We got a chance to check it out early. Got a pretty chill, dope vibe to it, kind of a West Coast swag. It gives me Tiger vibes, you know. So like, you know, I personally think that the song is dope. I think that my only issue is that I wish it would have came out a little bit before summer, because it definitely has that summer vibe as we're getting ready to get out of summer. But I guess it's always hot in Cali. I think he's in Cali, but you know, it is what it is. But
it's always summer. It's always summer there, Joe. Like it's always a vibe in Cali. Yeah, you said it gives away. It gave me early Jaden Smith vibe.
1,000%, and you know that's my guy. 1,000%. It gives me Jaden.
I'm gonna go back a little bit here. What's my guy from Gym Class Heroes? Travis, I can't remember fully his name. Damn it, he's Tiger's cousin, and he did a song with Bruno Mars, and it gives me that type of summer feel good ish vibe.
B.O.B.
to the track. Nah, not B.O.B.
Oh, it's Gym Class Heroes. I don't know. Yeah, it was. I definitely don't know.
Damn it, you're supposed to be the one that lived like, okay, I know who that guy is.
Yeah, nah, I don't. But nah, Jaden Smith is my guy, and it totally does.
Everybody heads up by saying Gym Class Heroes, and people like, who the hell is he talking about?
Definitely,
Travis McCoy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep, I can see that. Yeah, you're right, man. West Coast, if he is on the West Coast, could be on the East Coast, but whatever it is, it gives you that West Coast vibe, and you know, he just dropped it. Check out the video, go support that. But yeah, we lost Crown Camacho, but looks like Quincy is not swaying away from business. Also had a dope video of him and Mary J. Blige just grooving in a zone. Listen, that's a hit right there.
He's hip hop royalty. I mean,
that is true.
When your dad, your biological dad is I'll Be Sure. Your dad, who played the key central part of raising you, is Diddy, and like you've been around music forever. Like at that point, man, like everybody knows who Quincy is. So
yeah,
I mean, and then he's following the steps of like his brother, King Combs. Like like just a different bop, a different type of vibe to it. That's it. Kind of his character in Dope.
Exactly. Which one of my favorite movies, by the way. So yeah, you know, I as I told him in our interview, you know, you may be your character may be, you know, dead in Power, but you're forever part of the Power family, and looks like he ain't slowing up with business, dropping his new music video available on his YouTube channel now. But you all know the drill. Like I'm always come bearing gifts. I mentioned we have an interview with him, so I think I should just give you a little snippet of that interview now. I will say, you know, in terms of us saying, in terms of me saying, did I feel like this character was killed off too soon? For sure, because going back to our interview earlier, where we had Malcolm Mays, we spoke about the potential idea of what if Crown and Lulu, what if they had a spinoff or a miniseries? And he was, you know, Malcolm was very much aboard on that. And I started to think like, that actually could be very interesting. And so I asked Quincy, I said, what's your thoughts about that? So we're here. We have to say really quickly in this snippet right here, and you can check out the rest of the interview later on today on the channel. So let's go to that right now.
Really open up, I guess, people's minds a little more, you know, because you got people either fucking with Crown or fucking with Lulu. You know what I mean? You ain't got nobody really like understanding the real struggle on both ends and the balance, but also too the clash being created. So, you know, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
In the world of endless possibilities.
All right, folks. Thank you again. Always coming through showing love. I saw a quick snippet of our interview with Quincy Brown, who plays Crown Camacho, who unfortunately took an L in this episode. But hey, man, sometimes it's business, sometimes it's pleasure, sometimes it's personal.
Of war.
The casualty of war.
Rock had to make a point and let Lou know. You know, when Rock eyes dot back and forth as she talking, it's all plotting. She said, you know Lou. I was like, oh shit, she gonna say.
So before we get into the order of events of today's episode, what did you think about Crown as it on the show?
It was fitting for the character because Crown had been gaining disrespect for Lou, and it was because I think Crown made the mistake of not respecting the street dude that Lou was. So yes, he's coming into your industry. He doesn't know much. He's green as hell, and Crown treated it that way. But when you treat it that way, you're kind of going to disrespect the other side of him. In the moment you said, you ain't nothing but Rock's little brother, after everything Lou has been going through, like, Crown knew that was a pressure point, but I don't think he knew Lou would react that way to it. But again, what was it? Pac said it? I don't know. Or Dre? I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Oh, that's Pac.
That's
Don't
definitely Pac.
Yeah. And Dre said it and been there, done that too, though. So yeah, but like, again, it's that situation where he pushed Lou to a point that Lou was already at. And at that point, it was just a natural reaction. And Crown has a natural like asshole tendency in him, which a lot of people in music does. So it was fitting that this would be Crown's end.
Yeah. I've been a fan of Quincy for a while. I mean, you mentioned Dope. I love the series Star that needs a conclusion.
I'm about to say the only good thing on Star to me was him and Brandy. Nothing else was worth seeing on Star.
And
shout out to him for passing on that role in Empire. That's a good job. Good job. He was supposed to play Lil Hakeem in that, and I will always give him credit for understanding when a role ain't meant for you. Because man, if Quincy would have made Drip Drop, I'd have had a problem with him.
But I enjoyed Quincy's performance as Crown this entire series. You know, that sort of just representation of who those producers were of the era. I mean, from the attire, from the cockiness, from, you know, the willing to throw folks into bad deals, to almost, you know, moving money from one pocket to the other without actually having money, kind of maneuvering, having contacts, but actually don't have the financial backing. I mean, he played it to a T. I just wish that the reason why I say I thought it was too soon, because, and again, maybe it veers off a little bit into what this show is, but I did want to get much more sophisticated about the wrongdoing in the music business in this era. There's a lot you can play with there. A lot.
But let's just say a character played by Quincy will not be the person who they would ever put that on. Because then, you know, people make correlations, and you know where the correlation is going to go there.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Yep. Somebody read the room on that one. And again, you know, good point. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, his Quincy's new song Jetty is available on his YouTube channel. I'll link that below. Let's get into tonight's episode with Rock meeting with the team. Listen, everything that's kind of building up and almost boiling over with the Italians, things need to be addressed. And she says, listen, we're not bending over for the Italians. We're going to stand Newark, and we're going to go national. Rock is thinking big expansion now. We're growing. So there's a positive here. Regardless of these little setbacks, she states that we're growing. And that's not just like a motivational speech, because later on in the episode, we did hear that Rock always counts every single dollar. You're not going to make a cent. You're not going to make a statement like that if it ain't true. So they're growing one way or another. And she's just thinking more and more and more. But Lou states Newark ain't worth nearly all this trouble. Surprisingly, Marvin agreed. I did not see that coming. And then she mentioned that Kanan's going to get back in the mix. He needs to see this from the ground up. She also states that at least somebody, one of these males in his family, is going to see the vision. I kind of felt her on that. That's kind of like my statement in terms of like seeing the vision, understanding.
But here's the fucked up part, though. You know who saw the vision?
Who?
Scrappy. The one person she killed is the one who saw the vision.
Facts. Complete facts. I want you. I'm going to sum this scene up. Then I'm gonna kind of get your assessment of it. But we got Roel now saying, "Hey, I need to holler at you." I just want to quickly say, and I could be wrong, but I also felt like how he kind of like, "Hey, I need to holler at you." I don't know why that just rubbed me wrong in terms of like hierarchy. Like I felt like he really overstepped on the "Hey, I need to holler at you" type. That's the boss. You need to. Yeah. You need to pin in your appointment, sir. But he did say, he aired it out. Neat got to connect with the Italians, and he said, "I'm loyal," which I want you to answer. Is he loyal? You can answer that in a second. But she did say the main person that's saying they're loyal typically are the ones who are not, the ones that you don't trust. I mean, he put a bigger bullseye on him more than he know it by just that statement. But then after that, Lou and Kanan have the statement and say, this is what we do, Uncle Lou. He said, no, this is what she does. That's an interesting response there. And then Marvin is still on pursuit of Tony. He's trying to get the whole story. Here's the thing. We got to talk to London last week. Yeah. And he gave me the whole feeling that Marvin's like a player. Like, hey, once you're gone, you're gone. And, he had to let these women know, like, he's the man. Everything that I'm getting from Marvin right now tells me that he is some reason or somehow heartbroken. He needs some bit of closure.
He's that nigga Destiny's Child was singing about in Bugaboo. Clearly, because he won't leave her alone.
Listen, he's trying to build a case on her. Like, he wants to know, like, why, who, when, where, who's involved, all sorts of different things. But yeah, with this whole scene, sir, I would love for you to give me sort of your assessment of a couple of things. One, is Roel loyal? And if he's loyal to who? And then overall about Rock and her expansion. What's your thoughts?
I mean, first, go back to last episode, maybe the episode before last, when Roel was robbed in Jersey. And I questioned it then. I said, he gave that up way too easily.
Never, not even.
And then it automatically made me think that he wasn't loyal. Rock said the best thing in the world. Whenever you're in those pressure type of moments and a dude or anyone comes up to you to profess that they're on your side, I'm on your team, that is the nigga you watch out for. Because someone who is on your team wouldn't feel the need to tell me that. You only feeling the need to tell me that because you know I doubt it, and because it's something within you that tells you you're not on my team. So that immediately makes me think, of course he's not loyal. I think Rock is 100% right when she said, nah, you and Unique set this up. It's obvious that him and Unique set this up.
Wow.
Because again, out the blue, as Rock said, out the blue is amazing that Unique became useful. And the only person that helped them become useful was Roel. So of course, you're not a loyal person. As it pertains to her and her brothers, you especially with Lulu. I think this whole episode with Lou is him trying to find his place in the family business and what he sees as his exit out of the family business.
Yeah.
But as anyone would tell you, is any of these street stories, and I hate to tell people, it is real when this type of stuff happens. It is hard to find an exit. It is definitely hard to find an exit when it's a family-run thing.
Yeah.
And Lou is searching for that. So for him even telling Kanan, like, nah, that's what she do. Like, that's a sign of him being disloyal to even think of that in that nature. Yeah. But it's because he's trying to separate himself. It ain't that he means to do it. He's just like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. Unique played it beautifully when he said, how the fuck you missed that dude? And he was in between his
man. You've been asking about that a long time.
We questioned that the moment it happened because that's humanly impossible to miss that shot.
Yeah.
Unless you just don't want to do it. And we've seen it in other instances where Lulu just didn't want to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Because it ain't that he's not a killer. It's just that he wants to exit out of that. He doesn't want to be this. Yeah. It's odd when when you're forced to be a monster and you're not one. that eternal struggle that happens with you is what Lulu is going through. But again, as it pertains to that meeting, Rock's expansion into New Jersey, they're 100% right. New Jersey is not worth all that headache. But Rock is 1,000% right. And we talked about it last episode. If you back down, you looked at his food. Once you looked at his food, you're going to get 8. So at this point, you made the play. Once I make the play, we got to follow through with it.
Yeah.
And Rock wanting one of her brothers to see her vision is hilarious, because it shows just how split apart their family is on what the goal is. I think Marvin was cool with just being a regional or in that area hustler. That's all he cared about. We knew it from when he opened up the gas stations and shit, and he was running work through there. That's all he cared about. He doesn't see a bigger picture. So it's hard to be, when you are in charge, the head person in an organization, it is hard to get soldiers who see your vision when you want to expand that organization. And that's what Rock is struggling with. Yeah. It normally leads, and don't ask me how, it normally leads when this shit happens to niggas falling off, family or not. Like, you ended up, normally in this line of work, you end up getting rid of those people by cutting them off or ending their life, and then you find people who see your vision, because when people don't see your vision, it's going to do nothing but hold you back. So I am highly intrigued to see what happens moving forward with, if they don't get in line with seeing what Rock sees as a vision moving forward.
Yeah, well said. Let's go to the next scene. We got Howard at the coffee shop waiting. And folks, yeah, we know he's waiting for Kanan, but at this point we didn't know. And did you have any predictions there?
Oh, Kanan wasn't showing up. I knew that much.
No, but did you think it was Kanan he was waiting for? Because a moment for me, I thought it was Burke.
Oh, no. I always thought it was Kanan. I only thought it was Kanan because him and Burke aren't in a place where he would wait for her. I would just assume if it was Burke, he'd have got up and said, "Man, fuck this bitch," and left.
Yeah, but he still needs to have a conversation with her. He knows what she knows, and he at some point needs to, as I continue to say, as Omar has said, he's the chess player. He needs to know what his next move is going to be. He does know what she knows, but he now needs to kind of suck her in the sense of like, I don't know anything, but you do. That's entirely the game of chess.
You mean trying to pick her brain, like trying to pick her brain to say exactly what she knows.
That's why I thought coffee time would be.
I didn't think this was the setting for that, especially with two cops. I think for that setting with two cops, it tends to be in a cruiser together, because then it comes across as natural. As we just shooting the shit. So what's going on? Like, what have you been up to? Like that type of shit. But here.
Coffee and donuts, this seems to be like a typical cop thing. That just was my perception of it. That's how I was going with that. Cops do like coffee.
Yeah. I'm letting you do this automatic. Everyone loves coffee. Cops love coffee.
Hate
donut
coffee.
Shit, that's a New York thing more than anything else. Don't worry about it. When you get a little older, you'll treasure what coffee means.
Never. Yeah, but he got stood up, and I thought this scene was funny because the waiter was kind of like, "Hey, bro, your date coming? Because you're looking kind of lonely right now." And that's why he was just like, "Leave, stop asking me. Do I want refills?" Played up that. I thought that was done really well. On the other hand, the person I did thought he was waiting for was Burke, and also this would have just worked out beautifully if he was waiting for Burke, and Burke pent him on a date essentially to keep him out of her tracks, so that she can go pull his records. Because what if, coincidentally, she ran into him, just like she coincidentally ran into him later, but whatever. But I thought this would make sense. I would love to see Burke kind of be a little bit more strategic on this. But nonetheless, coincidentally, he happens to be waiting for Kanan while she is pulling his records. It is interesting here that says, "My dad gives you his best," and he said no he didn't. I don't know what that is about. I don't know if we're ever going to explore that, but is there something going on with Burke's dad in the force? Was he a menace of some sort? But like but listen, I think the important thing about this is that I think this is what Howard is going to use at some point. It's got to be
definitely
a shot of credibility, a credibility issue with her dad that is going to blanket her.
It's either a credibility issue or it could be the reverse, where remember the way her dad was talking to her about even trusting her partner? Like, I think that's what Howard's going to use against her. Like, your dad wasn't this kind of cop. What kind? You should be in, what is it? IAB? Am I saying it right? Internal Investigation?
Yeah.
Like, that's where you should be at, the way you're going about business. Because, you know, Paz Blanca is really fucking up by even, like, going after his records and looking at all this stuff. Because one thing for sure,
Paz Blanca.
Those records. Yeah, Paz Blanca.
Legacy Blanca.
One thing for sure, when you look into a cop's background, other cops will tell that cop that you're looking into their background. So it's going to get back to Howard that you're looking into it. So you're being extremely sloppy for no reason.
Yeah,
as her girlfriend said, because you believe in a trick who told you that he has a kid. Like, maybe she told you that to give you juicy information to throw you off of her.
Yeah.
Again, you believe in the hoe. In all honesty, like that. But that's basically what her partner is saying. And Burke is falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. So it's going to be interesting when Howard finds out fully that she's constantly looking into him.
Yeah, I really, and I love, and you know, my favorite character in all of Power is
Sax.
Oh my God, Sax. Thank you. I'm about to say Shane Sax. Because I love these characters that are like this, and I know everybody's probably tired of Burke, but it's, to me, this character is still very, very much contained. While we understand what her objective is, there's no conflict with this character right now until it's getting ready to get to a point where it is going to get crazy. And I love how we're just getting each one of these episodes, we're getting a warning sign from here, a warning sign from here, and she continues to go forward and forward and forward. And then we've seen this design, as you mentioned, with all these other previous iterations of these type of characters, where once we get to that point, it's going to get crazy. So I just loved how we just, every single episode, we just got a tidbit there, and Shanley's been killing it. So we're going to see where else Burke makes a mistake or does something very questionable. And in this case, you're right, because I don't know anything about police protocol, or I do know a little bit, well, I leave it at that. I don't know anything about police protocol, but in terms of them retrieving records, I know there has to be a log here. And there also has to be like you're asking about,
it's a code,
an active officer.
It's a code. So you're going to go to one officer, ask for that officer, but you don't know the relationship between those two officers.
And we all know
think it's going to happen.
And we all know he's respected, because every single person says he's respected.
And he's just coming back from getting hurt. So they're going to eat even more so. Even if you didn't like him, you're going to bring up, man, why your partner looking into you?
Yeah, what the? Yeah, everybody else.
And then she's new to the force. Also, remember, she's new to the force.
Yeah, and Internal Affairs already backed off. Internal Affairs already backed off. It's kind of wild.
She messing up the church's money.
Yeah,
that's all that is.
And her bringing up the fact that there's a gap in his records and that he worked undercover. For me, for whatever reason, I was like, and how was that bad? Because
she just saw a gap in it, and then it took the guy who she was talking to tell her, well, it's normally a gap if they work undercover.
Yeah. And
she said, oh, he never told me he worked undercover. Why would he need to? Like, it's it's the jumping to conclusions that I think is going to really pin Burke against the wall here, especially with Howard.
Yeah,
because he's going to use that to his advantage. We're just waiting for him to use it. We know it's going to happen. Yeah, we're just waiting for him to use that to his advantage.
Yeah. Anyway, the crew goes and visit Unique. The shop looks like it's booming now after we've seen much of nothing before, but it looks like the fabrics are all flowing. Business is good. Unique is in good spirits, and Unique G-checks Lulu, as you mentioned. He says, I think his head, first of all, Joey right now is in his element on this scene. Like, I know this had to be fun for them to shoot, but he G-checks Lulu. Like, listen, I think my man head is out the game here. How the hell did you miss Roel? Did you had to miss him on purpose? The Tech 9 jamming is something that you refer to as very common, but hey, you had him dead to rights and you missed. What's good with that? And he assessed it for what it was. I don't know if I can read Rock here in terms of respecting that. I don't know if it draws doubt, or I don't know if she's just letting Unique talk because that's what he does. But I guess, folks, you can in the comments kind of let us know what you think. Probably
definitely a little bit of both. She's letting Unique talk, but she already knows that Lulu's head is out there.
Yeah, what else is new?
She knows it already. Yeah.
Hey,
it's
man.
Just surprising, like, oh, that nigga see it too? Like, it's like, oh, so everybody can see that you're not here. Okay.
Yeah. Now, you tell me how you feel about this statement. Now, this is what I thought Detective Howard was going to pull on Detective Burke. Unique says, "What you doing in Jeru's?" He knows she's been in there, but he's asking like, "What are you doing out there?" Is he asking because like a question mark, or like one of those like, "What are you doing?" Like you're messing up.
He's asking as a setup question. He knows exactly what's going on out there because the world set it up.
Exactly.
It's a setup question.
Exactly.
What you doing out there? Like it's phrasing that you should never trust when you hear from people. So if you ever going somewhere and somebody's like, "Man, you was out there. What you doing out there?" Don't trust that nigga at all. At all. Because he's already peeping your moves, and he shouldn't be peeping your moves that way. So that's what Rock picked up on. Is the moment he said it like that, I think Rock picked up on it like, oh. So you asking those type of questions.
Yeah.
How is this gonna come back? And clearly we see later on what happens.
Yeah. And that's what she says. Like, I don't trust him. I don't trust Roel. None of that. And then she said, "Listen, but he may be a way of squashing this with the Italians with our bodies dropping." And Unique, you know, he happens to be that connection, but it's also very much questionable how he all of a sudden becomes uniquely, conveniently useful. So that's that. We talked a little bit about that earlier. So we'll go to the next scene with Juke out with her mother, Kenya, played by the lovely Latoya Luckett. She's trying on dresses. "Okay, sir, I need you to keep that same energy now." Kenya said, "You are starting to look like my daughter." Is that
not? No, that's some bullshit.
Yes, it is.
That's some bullshit. Are you fucking kidding me? Hold up.
Yeah.
How you gone? As my man Marvin says later on this episode, you gone and the party already here. Like, how you gone for this long to say I'm starting to look like your daughter? You are full of shit. Nick, you've never been around. You don't know what I look like. You know, like again,
what she's been through in terms of her appearance.
It's
like that was kind of distasteful.
She is trying, and that Juke is going with her trying to mold Juke into something else.
Yeah,
that is more surprising than anything else. That's that unnecessary, be very political, unnecessary church BS. When you're trying to mold this girl into something that she clearly isn't. Because I don't have a doubt in the world that she fully knows who Juke is. But, you know, if I change up the way you dress, if I change up, you know, get you little flowing hair and all this other stuff, maybe you'll act different. Maybe you'll become a different person.
Oh, man.
I man, it's so bad.
I want you to unfilter that in a second because I didn't even think about that. But I thought personally first, I thought by her saying that it was completely distasteful because you didn't understand what she's been through about her parents, as she just heard from Uncle Lou in terms of like you need to whatever his choice
look more like a girl, basically.
Yeah, basically.
He basically told her you need to look more like a girl. And she's just been hearing that, and then she goes
to her mother. Who she's looking
trying to do that too.
Exactly. Juke is looking for acceptance, and she's looking for home. She's looking for some stability in life.
Yes.
And so essentially, like, you can't fault her for you can't fault Juke, but the realization is that she's completely vulnerable and she's subjected to things like this, no matter how detrimental it is to her mental health. You understood it from Lulu. You also should, I mean, obviously looking back with complete wherewithal of it, you also should not accept that from Kenya as well. But I need you to unfilter that just a little bit, because I don't think people hear what you're saying about what you're saying about the church and and the year too. Also very clear about the year.
We're in the 90s, so at this point in time, I'm pretty sure when you first see Juke and you see Juke's appearance, you understand that Juke possibly could be part of the community. You know, the first thing the church did, especially back then, is to try to pull that away from you. So if I can make you dress like a girl, maybe you'll act like a girl. Maybe you won't be so hard. Maybe you won't be so tough. So even when you get the scene where Juke's friends roll up on her and say, "Oh man," and Juke said, "I'm trying to switch it up," and they say, "Man, this ain't no switch up." Like, her friends are basically saying, "This isn't you. Why are you looking like this?" And then her mother trying to interject because she like, "Well, this is the way my daughter needs to look." That bullshit about, you know, you're finally starting to look like my daughter. Then what the fuck was she looking like before? Like,
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
And you can hear the little tidbits under her saying the baggy clothes and stuff. You hear her saying
it's a struggle between both of these horrible parents that is going to be so interesting for Juke, because in the end, while Marvin was not happy that she was gay at all, clearly we saw his reaction to it, but he never questioned the way Juke acted or dressed ever. As he said at the table, like, this is the first time I seen you in dress since you were 2.
Yeah.
So he never questioned it, because in his mind, he understood who she was. He just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Kenya, on the other hand, has decided to go to a different route and saying, I can change who you are. It's like conversion therapy. Like it's bullshit. It's conversion therapy used through church. You could be the holiest of Christians in the world, but you was a hoe at one point in time. But you're not willing to accept anyone else's sin. That's the problem here. That's the problem here.
Episode 7 or 8. You heard it here first. This is not a spoiler because I actually don't know. I'm just making a prediction. She is going to deploy the give your life to Jesus tactic.
Hey.
And it is going to be completely detrimental to Juke, because she is going to use that about how it changed her life, and how, if you want to be a woman, or you want to have
a woman of God, because that's what they say.
Woman of God. You want to have a husband. You want to have a husband. She's going to throw all these things that don't identify who Juke is, and that's just going to shred her, because you know why? Then she's going to question, you really, really did not see me for who I was. And that
she sees Juke as a dress-up doll right now. That's
doing God's work.
You're an accessory.
She's doing missionary work.
Yeah, you sung Mary, Can You Weep? And at that point, I knew the Lord told me to put you in a dress and make you act like a girl.
Won't be long for it. Won't be long. It won't be long.
Again, we're not saying this just out the blue, and we're not saying it's to bash church folk, because not all church folk are like this. But when you understand the time period that you're in, and you understand what you're seeing here, you're seeing that conversion attempting to happen here. Because other than that, I would just accept you for who you are. I don't need to put you in no damn dress. I don't give a fuck what you dress.
Yeah.
But church says, come as you are.
Yes,
if you want to wear the Tommy Hilfiger, the baggy jeans and all that, you want just like Lisa Left Eye Lopez, perfectly fine with me.
And listen,
I don't care.
When I first started going to the club when I was younger, my mom used to be like, listen, wear those clothes right to the church, but your ass better be in there. Don't nobody judge you, bro.
I grew up in the same type of church where it didn't matter what the fuck. I have not worn formal clothes. I am of upper age now. I have not worn formal clothes in my church, and I've been going to the same one since I was 13. Are you crazy?
Somebody made a comment about you. Somebody made a comment about your age on the last review.
They talk about, man, you got to be like 44. No, I'm not. You will not put those. Just because I like Scarface does not mean you that old, Nick. Somebody, man, how you know how dead bodies smell? Like, I'm gonna tell you. Don't worry about how I know how fresh dead bodies smell. Just know I know how it smells, and I'm never gonna see how I know how it smells.
Let's get to Marvin in his group session. He's growing. He's using the techniques at work. He's controlling his anger. That's all it is. But it looks like his therapist or leader or whatever you want to call it, I keep getting this wrong, but it looks like she has taken a liking to and making an example of him, showing that he's making progress. So good for him. Juke, as we said a minute ago, walking around with her mother with bags out here, running to her old homies, Tilo and them, talking about some, you paying for shit now? Obviously, they still on their same shit. Looks like they're doing good. I mean, they're not in jail. Bag was loaded, and that's what it is. And that's what you mentioned. You said something about switching up her style and whatnot. I mean, as you already mentioned, and that's when they basically said, I'm hungry, so they go get food or whatnot. The meeting with Sal Patelli. This is them revisiting settled business. That is the key point here, because the Italians made a judgment, and that's that. I also want to tip my hat off to you, sir, and myself about our assessment of last episode in the what's it called? The cats.
Yeah, cat scales. Cat scales.
Yeah, cat scales. Yeah,
we gotta go there in New York so you can visit, so you'll understand. Understand what that means. Yeah.
I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought it was like, I don't know. I started getting feelings like, is that like one of them lakes down in Atlanta? I mean, in Georgia.
Hey, everybody from the DMV know when I say this, it's like going to Mass of Nothing, really. So it's not
Now
different,
I
really.
get it. Okay, got it. Point made. But it to my point is that, like, remember, like, kids are off limits. That was
Yes.
the strike on their end. That was a plus in Rock's book. This was one point of him saying we can talk. And then obviously by Unique, every Unique connection is with Jill and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. Yeah, but like I said, Jimmy told Sal about what happened in the Catskills, and we don't fuck with kids. So a lot of respect for Unique as well. It's a favor. He's a close friend to the family, and there's that. So first of all, Marvin with the funniest line ever here. It's like, hey,
always, Joe.
don't you live up to Eddie Murphy up there in Jersey? What's that place called? Mobile here. I know exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah, because it shit did feel like when Eddie was up there, hey, for folks that don't know in the 90s, like Eddie was the pinnacle of black success. So when you mention where he was like, you're like, no one else lives there but Eddie Murphy. He was our 90s Oprah or our 90s Hove, where like it was Eddie and every other black person below him. So this is a perfect scene for Marvin saying,
yeah,
like, man, I didn't know they let niggas up there.
Yo, that's got. There's two lines I'm going to nominate for funniest lines in all of Power, and this is definitely one. And it happens to be the other one I thought was really funny is in this episode too. We'll talk about it in a second. But he also was like, nah, dude was like, I don't live up there. I live in Scarsdale. Scarsdale, you mentioned. My man Marvin was really humble, but also enlightened to know that this happens to be a place that I've been thinking about for a while because goddamn Tony, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You knew exactly when he said Scarsdale, what he was thinking of.
Oh my god, my man, whole everything is about this chick, but we'll see how that plays out because this has now been like the second mention of Scarsdale, and people who knows the area, lives in the area, and we're gonna see if is he gonna try to make a deal with one of the Italians to do a job for him of some sort? Could it be? Who knows? We'll see.
Get more information out.
Yeah,
or
we'll see.
Is Tony's husband connected?
Oh shit! I didn't think of that. Oh shit! Yeah, or do they expose Tony's husband for what he does and say, hey,
exactly,
some free, go get that. Anyway, this is where we have the handshake, very important, which is why the camera is directly on the hands, because this is a black woman shaking a hand with an Italian man to conduct business in pure respect. As you mentioned, as everyone in the comments mentioned, Italians love black women. Doesn't mean that they're going to respect them in a business sense like this. And this is monumental. This is monumental. This is a big deal. But he said, one caveat: Unique has to run the business. I don't know if you all peeped, but you probably should have. But Rock said, "Well, Unique is family." Tell me something new here, because I missed that memo.
that deal they made. So she's basically putting a front on, like, oh yeah, he's family, but she's also like letting you got to put a big clean face on for them, but not necessarily.
It's the first time she's done that. That's my point. That's my point.
Because she understands business, and I'm waiting for the other aspect of this to drop, and I know it's gonna be in the future episodes, and we are just future casting here because we ain't seen the advanced episodes because we don't, even if we get them, we don't watch them in advance. But Italians don't like black people and they don't like black men. Yeah, Unique is family now because they see him as a tool they could use against Rock. What happens when they flip that on him?
Yeah, what happens when business is so good with Rock that he's no longer needed? We will see. So there's that. And as you mentioned, like, hey man, y'all cooked this all up. Royal cousin in Jersey, you all of a sudden become a critical part of all of this. Like, and she says, listen, it's not who started, it's who finished it. And Unique said, I feel like I hit a buzzer beater. So a little bit of good
nigga that feel like they hit a buzzer beater always lose. It's been plenty of niggas who hit a buzzer beat and thought the game was over.
Yeah, this
And
is
then the same niggas who a couple of minutes later is crying in a lap because it didn't go the way they thought it would go.
Yeah. I'm gonna breeze through a little bit of this. Kanan learning the operation. He's the brown bag guy. He got to go to the bodega to do his thing. He's with Famous, catching up after his trip into the woods. But this is when Freddy comes and points the gun at Kanan, and robs Famous for his fake chain, but also takes the bag of money, which is Rock's money, on his first day of the job. And Kanan says, "Listen, we got to get the money back." And Famous says it happens to everybody, but Kanan says it's not happening to me no more. So listen, after Kanan got this gun pointed at him by the Italians, my man just became a whole new man. He done buried the body. He done chopped it up with his mom. He got
a body. He like, no, right. It ain't gonna be cool that somebody just points a gun. It is never cool in any street atmosphere to allow someone to point a gun at you and it not come with consequences. I'm letting you know now. Don't do that unless you're a civilian and you're not a street person. If that happens to you, you ought to run away. Don't you engage them or do none of that nature. But for someone like Kanan who's into the business of it, and for Freddy to say, I don't care about your family, you know it's consequences from behind.
I mean, listen, y'all can put in y'all bets now. What episode is Freddy catching the L? There's no way that's floating. And it may be Kanan's first intentional body. It really might be.
So. I don't think so. I think Freddy caught that L. Kanan said it if we talk about what happens later on in the scene with Freddy, when it gets to what Kanan then tells Famous at the end of that scene, is why Freddy will never test Kanan again. Because at times you got to put a nigga head in the sand so you understand what's going to happen. Because then if you come back to me, what do you think I'm going to do to you?
Yeah.
But Freddy was already scared anyway. From what he said, like the moment I saw what was in that bag, oh, we're not about that. So what the fuck are you about then?
Confused.
So robbing a dude but what he's basically saying is we're about small stuff. We're only here to, like, if it's a nickel, a dime bag of
petty crimes
or shit like that. But when that money hit a certain level, you understand it brings other attention to it.
Yeah,
it's why we tell folk. Oh, it's why folks are told. If you ever walking on the street and you just see a bag of money and it's a lot of money in there, don't touch that shit.
Yeah,
because it's too much shit attached to that.
Yeah.
So if it's $100, $200, you good. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about that. But thousands of dollars, nigga, that's comes not with even problems.
Listen, that ain't even a city specific thing, because from what I know about the cartel, you randomly come across some money. You better, if you dug up some money, you better put it right back.
Hey, what they say, if you see that car in your neighborhood and that trunk is full of something, you know what you do? Walk right past that motherfucker. Don't you touch it. Everybody know.
Yeah, that's 1,000%. Going on to Cartier Fareed, we see him more about how he's cleaning his money in real time. And here comes my favorite line of Power. My man said, "Hey, could you give me a hand?" He looked back and said, "Here's your hand, bitch." It reminds me of, and somehow I always forget this genre, but when you talk about the genres of like scary movie, Naked Gun, Airplane, Hot Shots, what's that genre called of movies?
I know what you're talking about. I saw a movie recently that falls into that same genre of that.
I heard
comedic slapstick comedy.
Slapstick, yeah. And apparently a lot of it's getting ready to come back. But I love those one-liners, just like in Scary Movie, where he said, "Oh, he's just a homeless guy. He's hungry." I said $1, bitch. It's one of my favorite lines of all time. Like, I love one-liners like this. So that was funny. The whole choreography of the slap and everything.
So we caught up on two different one-liners that I thought was. It's a one-liner he makes right after that, which is the most important one-liner.
Oh, I mean,
in Power
for the series
so far.
Yeah.
Hey, for the series, it's a thin line between insubordination and insurrection.
Yeah.
Damn it! The moment he said it, I said, "You goddamn right. It is a very thin line between insubordination and insurrection. And you got to nip that shit in the bud because you cannot let someone go. It is such a thin line. I couldn't tell you the difference between the two. And because I can't, I got to react the same way to it. Man, that was a hell of a line.
Yeah.
Look at Hollywood out here giving lines after lines. I'm going to keep on calling them Hollywood because I love Queen Sugar. But, like, that's a hell of a line right there between in that conversation with him and Rock. And see Rock's face when he says it. Yeah. That's highly important.
Yeah, a lot of respect here. And as he also commands respect, say, never interrupt me again. And you say, got to keep the people that work for you, got to keep them in check. Yeah, Rock, you better take that one to the bank. But anyway, he talked about there's too much supply in the area. That's why in the tri-state area, which is why he decided to move down to DC, Baltimore, and Norfolk. You know, every time we mention DC and Baltimore, our little rabbit ears are going to point up here. Here's the thing: you got a lot of conflict going on in Jersey right now. My man already told you where there is a need of things, and that's the truth. Because I mean, you can agree or attest to it, shall I say? When we wanted certain things, certain styles, certain looks, certain feels, we had to hit our people up in the north. A lot of my family's from New Jersey, New York. Had to get them to get you the mixtapes. Had to get you the certain clothes.
Mixtapes did not exist in DC.
Yeah, at all. I mean, when I used to wear forces, I damn sure couldn't get them in this area like that. I mean, I think our
because niggas didn't wear forces here
at all. Yeah. I think they were stocking 2 a size or 3 a size or something. But if you needed the exclusives, you had to go up north. And I think that's sort of still the mentality. Oh, this was the mentality, even in the drug game or cash flow, is that we actually were being supplied by the people up north. It had nothing to even do with ports or anything. It just wasn't moving like that there.
I mean, Alpo came down here to make money, which is like
just about to say that. Just about to say that.
It's a situation where like, if it's so many people in one area, you got to expand outward. Yeah. And outward for New York is always going to be DC, Baltimore, clearly, because back in the 80s, Baltimore wasn't what it is or what it became. Yeah, it had to be flooded to get to that point.
Yeah,
same thing with Norfolk, which is a place that not too many people bring up as Norfolk, and Norfolk is worse than Baltimore.
Yeah, because it's not Virginia Beach. And
Virginia Beach is bad too, though.
I know, but it's not Virginia Beach, and you're kind of sitting in the tri area of all three of them, of Baltimore or you can't even go Delaware where everyone be, but and also,
go ahead. You can hit all them outlets.
That's my
point.
You
can hit every place you need to hit from Norfolk if you wanted to. You can run a full operation out of that jump and hit DC, Maryland, Virginia, PG County, all them jumps into one.
Yeah, it's why certain people still move in Baltimore. It's why Baltimore has conversation for another day, folks. But yeah, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Anyway, we got Lou in the studio making beats, and Ziza basically when you never not in the studio. He said, "Ain't shit out there for me." Cartier is pissed at the songs down on the radio. Brought up about Juke songs. He says, look, trying to get close to Lou, and Lou's not letting her. He's not making the same mistake they made with Jessica in terms of studio. So, we talk about business and pleasure and business and personal. And this was the first example of it being business in the studio. Doesn't seem to be the same the next time we're in the studio. But anyway,
also the other part that you said too. She said, you're always in the studio. And Lou said, ain't shit out there for me.
Yeah.
What? Your whole business is out there. What do you mean it ain't shit out there for you? Yeah. It was really telling that was his response of why you always in the studio. Ain't shit out there for me. It sees the way Lou sees the actual business, as Rock has said before. Nigga, this is the business that funds your little hobby. How can you say it's nothing out there for you then?
So we in Famous apartment now, the bachelor pad, got shit in there, but they get ready to plot on Freddie. And that's where they trying to figure out, well, what do you got? I mean, man, motherfucker don't even have a knife. So they have to go next door to Corinne to get the knife. But the mom's in there coming in like a porn star, thinking I know exactly what you need. I was like, oh shit, they're about to drop the beat in this joint. Like, I know exactly what you need. And gives him a gun. Didn't see that coming. I literally thought she was going to give him some ass. I'm not even going to play. I literally thought she was going to give him some ass. But she gives him a gun and it says it gets hot in that kitchen. Kissed him though, and then said like, listen, it's apparent that you need this, so go do it. Here's my thing. Rock is going to find out that he has that gun. That's the only thing I'm going to get from that. He's going to figure out where you get it from, and it's going to come back to them. And these characters ain't being introduced in the way that they are to just not be nobody.
He ain't been introduced for no reason. I'm just waiting. Yeah. Which one of these is Sean's mother? That's all I'm waiting to see. That's all I'm waiting to see. Maybe it happens around this time period.
We'll see. Anyway, they ran up on Freddie to get the bag back. Pistol whips him. A few punches. Statement made. Took the chain back as well. Cops pull up on them and get famous. I mean, it's too coincidental how that happened. I hated it.
Old man. Hey, it was the old man next door. You should have shot the old man too. In all honesty, you should have shot the old man.
Yeah, but
the
also
moment he sees you gotta take him out too.
Yeah, but listen, it's
that
the projects
in the hood.
In the hood. Fuck no. I can deal with me some power-isms. Not this one. This one is
a clear power-ism.
Beyond.
The cops don't come that far. We've had
Tariq
shootouts in the hood and they not come that fast.
I'll take Tariq running around forever and make that more believable than this one.
Yeah, way more believable than the cops responding that fast.
Hell no.
Or you doing that shit, having a witness and walking all casual like it's. Why did Famous have the backpack? He never had it before, and you knew what was in the backpack.
Yeah,
nigga, you not holding that back. Give me that motherfucking bag, Joe.
Yeah,
Kanan's the bag man. Why would I put that off on someone else?
Yeah, wildness. Anyway, Marvin and Rock, they talk about the trip and all that, and ask about them connecting and whatnot. Obviously, because Marvin's still trying to figure out ways to get in touch with, to get connected with Juke.
Yeah,
she did mention that Kanan kept her guessing, and all sorts of different things of that nature, because Kanan's young. And then Marvin mentioned that Juke broke him off. So there's that. There's some shit that you need to know. And that is Rock mentioning to Marvin about Juke being interested in Kenya. First of all, beyond that, the way you knock around your daughter, what was you thinking? I mean, this is the reason why you're in the shit that you're in now. I helped raise her. She is mine too. You put your hands on her. It's like putting your hands on me. You do it again, I kill you. All right. Oh yeah. Then he mentioned that like you got in touch with Kenya. Kenya is in Harlem, so Marvin is, he's getting a lot thrown at him right now. He's getting a lot of emotion. I will say this though. I'm not going to make this a big deal about her saying that I will kill you, because this is a very, very much. This is respect between siblings here. And holding them accountable. This is not, I will never ever put a chip on Rock to kill Marvin ever in this series. I don't see that happening. But she
just letting them know, like,
accountability.
That's my baby. If you hurt her, I'm gonna fuck you up. That's all.
Yeah.
It ain't even really a kill thing. It's more like, nigga, I will fuck you up if you hurt my baby again. Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
Some slight.
He'll get the Freddy treatment, I think. The same, just like Kanan gave to Freddie. The same thing, I think, as far as it goes. But anyway, as we mentioned, and as Rock now states, she's looking for what you wasn't giving her. So there's that. And now Marvin's thinking like, oh my God, 16 years later, and now you're back? Like what? Anywho, Kanan then tells Marvin about everything that happened, about Famous being got by the cops.
I'm gonna skip over the part with him talking to Rock, because that shit was hilarious to me.
Oh yeah.
That shit was hilarious to me.
Yep. So
she said, "Oh, that ain't our problem." Yep. What you telling us for? That ain't our problem.
Yeah, it's like my brother, but he has another mother. Yeah,
that's her problem.
Yeah, that's on his family. And
perfect way to handle that too.
Yeah, and
that's 1,000% true.
And that's Marvin. And Marvin didn't say what she said. So Marvin knows how to play. Marvin knows how to play the right side. That's just what it is.
Hey.
So there's that.
Going forward, fuck Famous. In all honesty, it's like, nigga, hit that. He's your friend. He ain't family. It's completely different.
God, I hate it so bad because I just feels like, oh man, it's not gonna be much longer for Famous, man. It's just like it's brewing up all the emotional toll to him, just one thing after another. It won't be much longer for him. But now we get Burke and her ex-girlfriend Adina. They're pillow talk about Howard got a son, never mentioned to anybody. Howard worked on the cover for a couple of years, and we already mentioned the tidbits about this, and this is where they start to make out because she said, "What about if I wanted you to stay the night?" Missed each other and so forth. So there's that.
You already know what that leads to.
Yep. Back to the family dinner. Marvin mentioned it to Juke. Haven't seen you in the dressing since you were 2 years old. The comment about the potatoes, completely hilarious. Mention again, Famous being arrested and just gonna let him sit there. Obviously talking to Lulu. Saying it, and none of this is sitting right with Kanan. That's the thing. It's like none of this is sit right. Yeah. So it's like my brother, different mother. But that mother's gonna have to deal with it, and that's just what it is. So, continuation from the previous scene. Famous in jail, spitting bars, questionable. And I love this. Treats need a body. That's you, right? Man, that's just garbage. Oh, he disrespected my man. Yeah, I hated it, bro. Treats need a body had some bars. That's all I'm gonna say. Marvin trying to talk to Juke and catch up with you later. Basically is what he said, and she looks directly at Kanan and says, "Good night, Kanan." And this is where Kanan, I'm sorry, starts to talk about what happened with the money. Cops took the money.
Yep.
Kanan tells Marvin about everything that happened, et cetera, et cetera. He mentioned here is where he says, "Your mom counts every dollar. Rock needs to keep eyes off of Marvin." Marvin is now looking for separation under the complete microscopic management of Rock. Yeah, like Lord of the Rings, that eye of Sauron just looking at Marvin the entire time, and obviously it's because he needs. What is Marvin trying to do? Why would Rock's eyes be an issue for him? He's been doing everything correct. Tony.
Yep.
Tony.
I don't need that pressure on me right now, dog.
Coming up with a plan.
You are on your own. That is your problem. I need you to deal with. But how is it that Rock counts every dime of money when we just sort of rats eating the money 2-3 episodes ago?
I mean, I guess Juliana held her accountable and said, "You need to get on your stuff because and you have a rat problem." Like maybe that made her tighten up management.
Rock counts the money until the rats eat it. Then she like, it is what it is.
Anywho, this is where we get the whole conversation about Rock and Lulu about the Tech 9 incident, talking about his subconscious, fucking him up. He's not about that life. He says maybe your subconscious is fucking up on both ends, both your music stuff and this, and then says, maybe you're just not down no more. Maybe it's not my subconscious. Maybe it is my consciousness, is what Rock says to Lulu. But she does mention about what Crown has been up to as well too. So good conversation between the two siblings here in terms of where Lulu's mind and statue is at with everything, and Rock is very much aware of it. Also, while we see there's conflict between the siblings, but when it comes down to it, they pretty much do keep each other pretty honest. And she didn't have to really say anything about Crown, but she did. And she said, like, "Hey, just let you know, go do what you gotta do." So there's that.
Left. I suggest you find a way to fix that.
Yeah. So Marvin goes to see Kenya, and obviously, come on, folks, do not sit here and say, "How does he know where he live at?" We've already talked about this in previous recaps. The yellow pages can get you anything that you need back in the day.
Any information you wanted back in the day. All you have to do is look through the book, get your address and your phone number.
Either you were using it to find an address or you was using it as a seat booster. But either way, the yellow pages was very prominent in our Boy, get that yellow page to sit on that.
Damn. Oh shit. We damn sure we used to put everybody in yellow pages. If you couldn't sit at the table, you stack two of them jumps together. That's a perfect seat.
I don't think
ass up to the table.
Bro, I don't even know if I ever seen a booster seat back in the day.
Wasn't no need for one. That's what we had yellow pages for.
Yep, showed up. But there's that, and she invites him in, no issue. She's a little uncomfortable, but she does invite him right up. Not very much like a why you here or anything, but it says bad enough that you left, even worse that you never look back. And she wants a relationship with her daughter. She apologized, obviously, and Marvin's clearly hurt here. If anybody can peep that,
that's more than anything.
You can see that, and say you left, stay gone. I want the folks in the comments to kind of let us know your thoughts about this, because it is interesting. He's hurt, but exactly why is he hurt? Is he hurt because her leaving wasn't just because it hurt Juke? Maybe it hurt him. Maybe it was because it was okay for him, but it hurt Juke, so that hurted him. It's a lot of reasons why he could be hurt, but like this is the first time we've seen him like hurt in this fashion. And
yeah,
I guess it's safe to say Marvin got a lot of things emotionally brewing up right now with Tony, with Juke, and now with Kenya coming back. That's his old joint, his therapist. Like, it's a lot going on here, and I think this is a good display of showing that Marvin, who's been very like unbothered at times, super bothered right here, and it's showing. It's completely showing. Unique and Rock go to visit Eton and says, "Listen, Unique gonna be running shit here, so either be his lieutenant or look or find other work. Unique, you're not a guest here. Don't put your feet on my furniture." And sure enough, he immediately does. Anything you want to add to that, or should we go to the next scene?
Yeah, there's none right now to add to that. That's just the hierarchy being placed and Unique being comfortable in this position. All you gotta do is pay attention that he's getting too comfortable too quick. There's always action when something like that happens. Yeah,
for sure. So Famous is out of jail now. Again, this crackhead is now again under custody, like because he's just completely always in some shit.
He is the world's worst crackhead. Like, I've never known crackheads to get arrested this much.
He might, for real. And he coincidentally sees Kanan, and we know that's about. So if you don't know, it's just the case.
Sees Howard, and then all of a sudden you put two and two together. That's gonna get back to Burke.
Yes,
because she believe in hoes, so she might as well believe crackheads too.
Yeah, and of course he's not gonna be liable. So crackheads, label as a crackhead. And listen, all right, I'm giving 30 seconds on this. Back in the day, there were a couple of people who were just completely uncredible and had no justice for them, regardless of circumstances. Back in the back in anything legal. One is black people, but we don't even need to go there. Two is definitely prostitutes who have been victim of certain crimes, and it doesn't matter. I mean, when you even look at certain serial killers and ones that escape,
targeted crackhead, they targeted prostitutes. It's easy.
Yeah,
get away with
the ones that exactly, and the ones who got away. I mean, even Little, what's his name? The black dude. They used to crush the people's necks. I don't know.
I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, but him, the one that got away, they was like, oh nah, well, you're a prostitute. So like, she had no justice for anything that happened to her. He didn't even get he didn't get charged for it.
You know how many hoes you got to kill for the police to pay attention? At least 10.
A billion.
At least 10. Once you get to 10, then they start noticing. They be like, wait a minute, like, where all our hoes go? Like, you got to at least kill 10 of them. And they be like, wait a minute, we missing hoes here. Yep. And it's normally the hoes that service the police also. Like when Cinnamon, who normally service the 5th district in DC, go missing, it's a problem. Like, it's something right here.
Put an APV out, we got an issue. And then obviously crackheads. I mean, and so like, to me, everything that she's trying to build with now 2 of the 3 on a 1, Burke doesn't have a case. So I am completely invested to see how this plays out, because her key witnesses, no. The answer is no.
Yeah.
So anyway, the crackhead coincidentally sees Kanan and Howard. This man Famous acting like he did some hard times in a holding cell. Now he said he got shit to rhyme about. We'll see how that plays out. I would love another song from Famous, as I always say. Howard gets all of the money. By the way, Burke sees them, and also hands him a book and says, hey, this is the answer to all the questions you still might have. And Kanan didn't show up for coffee. He got G-check for that. Don't have me waiting for your ass. And then says that Famous is a clown. Okay,
which he is.
You have it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. Now we got Crown and Lou. Now, Lou walks into the studio and says, it was one thing about you smashing Jessica behind my back, and I wasn't going to let bitches come over business. But now this, and this is Crown says, you're in over your head. You can't do this shit without me. And you like, I understand in a partnership here, wanting him out the label obviously is what Crown was trying to do. But the conflict. That being said, Crown completely disrespects him, said you'll always be Rock's baby brother. Definitely going to have my man and his feelings there. And we have that moment of reflection, his subconscious. "Hey, what did you do here, sir?" And he looks back and punches him, chokes him with an XLR cable, kills him because Lou has snapped. And much like 50 said in the narration, hurt niggas hurt niggas. Some say it's all
There you
business,
go.
never personal. Sometimes it get real personal and bodies start to drop it. And for our last bit, we get Ziza saying, what are we going to do with him now? Sir, thoughts about the closing moments of this episode?
I thought it was very interesting that she said, what are we going to do with him now? Because why would a we be included in that?
Yep.
Like that is a very interesting thing again, because Lewis held her at arm's reach, doesn't want her close to him, but she clearly is down for the cause here to get rid of Crown's body. So I'm very interested to see where that goes. Other than that, I mean, I said it, like I knew that this would be Lou's reaction. Like Lewis, that was never a good move from Crown to call him Rock's little brother, especially with everything that was going on with Lou, as I said earlier. And I'm just way more interested in her saying, what are we going to do with him now?
Yeah.
That is very interesting, because you would expect her, well, part of me would expect her to be shocked that that body was there, but then you got to understand the person who she's under anyway.
Yep.
So
I thought
maybe a shock. Shock wouldn't come into play there. I don't think she would be shocked about what happened to him, but to almost feel like she's like with Lou here and like, hey, so what are we gonna do with this body now? Yeah, that is the more interesting thing to me. And I would not have expected her to say that.
And to me, it's how trusting is he to her. I mean, he already got burnt once in the studio with Jessica and thinking they were together and going to run, going to grow and build something. Then she dipped out quickly. So
see, this is different though. Jessica was just a music manager in a way. This is an artist. Like, I think in the end, she is not her being there for Lou. It's her, more important for her is like, you hold the keys to my career right now.
That's true.
I got this hot song, and I think it's very evident that when she said she got the song from Lou, and she did not get the song from Crown.
Yeah.
So that means she possibly sees it as like Lou's the person looking out for her.
Yeah.
But then now what happens? Now that you've gotten rid of Crown, what's our next step? Yeah. Because now, nigga, you in charge of everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm interested to seeing how that plays out, because that's the more interesting part, is how's that going to play out between them two.
Yeah. Well, folks, that will do it for our recap here of episode 6. It's a businessman of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, season 2. As I said in the beginning of this recap, our interview with Crown Camacho himself, Quincy Brown, will be available on the channel later on today. Go to his YouTube channel as Quincy to check out his new song, Jetty, which was released a little bit earlier today. Go there, show him some love. And as much like I told him, and I tell you all, listen, Crown is gone as a character, but Quincy will forever be in the Power universe. It was a great time talking to him. A lot of good tidbits come from out of him in our interview, and a good time. And listen, the show ain't stopping. We got more recaps and reviews coming up, more interviews, exclusive interviews for you all, and so on. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you have subscribed, hit the notification bell. We're here live each and every week after the conclusion of Power airing on Starz app. But until then, folks, y'all be safe. Don't catch a body, and we'll see you then.
Please don't catch a body. Please, that's the last thing you need to do in this world, because the streets have enough of them at this point.
See y'all. Y'all take care.